have a reason why. To debate the hate, that's why we're born to die. Mandela, cell dweller, matching, you can tell her. Clear the way for the practical rage. How will the people say?
Okay, no more.
Yo,
okay,
yo,
okay,
man.
no more.
Yo, J. Hey, yo,
okay,
yo,
no more.
G. Yo, get Chuck. Come on. Yeah. Come on now. Shake it. Come on, y'all. Control you, cause I'm pumping what you're used to the whole juice crew gets me in my goose down. I do the rebel yell, and I'm a do it down.
I call it plain and sane. Brothers causing me pain. When the brother's a victim, and the cell is a dweller in a cave.
Yo, rap the acapella, G.
How will the people say?
Yo. We are back. Sorry, we're doing a few adjustments here. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Sorry about that. We back up in here. I've been testing my mixer board. I was going to do this show with the mixer board and possibly try to do a call or something here and there, but I don't like the way it's going. So until I get the quality I want, we won't put that out, but maybe we'll do a part 2 to this, and I may take it from Ustream and put it directly on YouTube. I'm playing with some other software to try to, to get the best experience, because on YouTube Live you can I can have my chat box and everything on the screen, and it's just a matter of how I want to manipulate the inserts. I kind of prefer this program right here, because from the people I've seen do it with the YouTube Live, takes a little bit of getting used to. So as I say, it is Thursday, and it is, what is today? April 20th. I've aged a year since my last show. I am now officially 52 years young. Gonna try to keep pushing. Tonight's show is about something that's, I've been touching with a lot of brothers lately, and we've been talking about manhood. Now, I believe every man has to develop his own manhood through whatever process gets him to the man that he wants to be. So that's the premise of the show tonight. But before we get into that, there's a few things we want to touch base on. A few advertisements people asked me to come out and put out and support, and hopefully people will see it and people will support. The first one is Direct Sellers Wine. This is an opportunity being brought to you by Barbara King. She is one of the sales reps. Hopefully I'll be able to get her on next week, because that's what I'm really going to want to start doing. People that want their business promoted, I'm going to need them to actually come on. Dial into the phone line and have a quick conversation, because I think no one can explain your product better than you. But with that said, I believe there is a video clip that's included in here, and we're going to go ahead and play that, and maybe we can get an idea of what we're working with.
So you love wine, and you've tried all the major brands. You've paid retail price, and you're just bored. Direct Sellers is a totally new way to experience wine. There are thousands of wineries all over the world, and only a fraction of those wines are sold at your local grocer. Artisan wine should tell a story. The colors, aromas, and flavors are as distinct and unique as the regions they are cultured in. Direct Sellers offers an exclusive guided tour through the world of wine, discovering new flavors that fit your palate and your pocketbook. Through the reds and the whites, from the traditions of Europe to the flavors of the New World, Direct Sellers brings the finest wines in the world right to your doorstep, and the choices are endless. Every exclusive club features hand-selected wine by connoisseurs with over 200 years of combined experience. Monthly deliveries are shipped to your home for free and include a profile on each bottle and the winery it was created in. Month by month, Direct Sellers will help you increase your knowledge, palate, and appreciation for wine. It's really all about the wine. We want you to experience something new and share it with others. Direct Sellers is empowered by social media, and you can get paid to spread the word of wine. As a member, you get referral fees, which are paid as cash when your friends and family also sign up as members. Whether you are looking to make enough to pay for your monthly wine shipment, a secondary income, or a plan B out of your current career, Direct Sellers may be the answer. Wine is about shared experiences. When you open a bottle with friends, it's just that much sweeter. Direct Sellers. Get in, get wine, get social.
There you go. If you're a wine drinker, hey, support black businesses. You can reach out to Barbara King at 773-364-0491 or at MissKing1993 at gmail.com. Or you can go to her website. The direct link is www.directsellers.com/820191. I'm not a big wine drinker, but you know, I know a lot of ladies like the wine, and like I say, within the next week we will have her come on, whether it's Skype or whether it's a call in, and she can really give you more detail into that. Second thing we want to address is we always advertise Kevin Character King, spoken word artist. He has a one-man show coming up, and it's coming up on Saturday, July 1st. It's going to be down at the Northwestern, let me put the exact location on the screen there so you can see it, Northwestern Illinois University Inner City Studies, located at 700 East Oakwood Boulevard. This is a one-year show. He's been preparing this for, I think, almost 2 years, because I'm always touching base with him on it. And he wants everybody to come out and support and enjoy and get some enlightenment. I'll give you a quick sample.
And these faces in old places are faces not of my skin tone. Yet they come from various places, do these faces, to purchase themselves new spaces in these vacant places, which have now been renovated, upgraded, upscaled, and updated.
Ready to implode on impact. And there are many in my family like me, better than me, always get me. And we can either be friend or foe. It all depends on who stands behind me though. And if so, who knows where the heart is at? But lately it's been cold and black. And I'm useless with it.
Okay, so that my mic's flipping out. If you want to come out and support, tickets are $20. You can get it from Eventbrite. You can go to eventbrite.com and type in "My Life, My Story," and it'll take you to the link. Or there'll be I'll add a link when I do the editing for the show that will get you there. I'm sure he'll have books and CDs on sale, or they are available for download. The CD is I Am Character. It's available on iTunes and CD Baby. And you can get the ebook, Character's Book of Poetry, on Amazon. I've got them both. This is my brother. Love him. Support him.
You're quite hostile.
Out there. And like I say, every show that every person that I put out there now, or give some pub to what they're trying to do, I'm going to start getting people to at least come in and, talk about their products so everybody can get an understanding of what's going on. Of course, I am Richard Robinson, owner of RPC Computing, located in Lansing, Illinois, 773-416-2955. RPC is your PC repairs, upgrade, consultations. We are even adding a remote option if you want to pay for someone to remote into your system. So keep that in mind. Support black businesses. We got all that out the way. Not that we're rushing it. We want to always give everybody equal time to share the information. But what we're talking about tonight is manhood. And I think it all started because, and I'm sure everybody's seen it by now, on the Corey Holcomb 5150 show, which is also on Ustream, so the same place that you can find my show, TheShow. You can find Corey Holcomb's 5150. I believe they're on Tuesday nights. I think it's 9 o'clock West Coast time. There was an incident with Aries Spears and Zoe Williams. And Aries was a little drunk, drinking gin, talking crazy, talking over everybody, insulting a few people, like a drunk person would do. Now, Zoe doesn't drink, but, from the interviews he's been talking and giving, he was a little aggravated. But the thing about this is, Aries didn't physically attack Zoe. Zoe physically attacked Aries. And they're kind of rules to manhood. And one of those rules, and this is a rule that gets a lot of us black men in trouble, and you got to get control of it. A man controls his emotions and his passions. A lot of times you see young brothers and stuff out here getting upset and talking crazy and going beating their chest. They think they relating through a masculinity thing, but that's what women do. Women tend to be emotional, and it's not to beat down women. Women just tend to be more emotional. A lot of women are raising sons, and that's a quality that comes across. But that's the point our oppressor already knew. That's why it was always his thing to tear down you as the black man, to emasculate you as the black man. I'm going to introduce you all to a term that you might have not heard before called buck breaking. This was a systematic set of rules for breaking black men. And most of the time it was done in front of other slaves, especially the women slaves. When a whooping was about to occur, we're going to bring them out here. Anytime a black man had a thought that he had some type of stake in life, marriage was not recognized during slavery. They wanted to keep you a little happy, so they said, okay, nigga, you can have this wench, but I'm going to come down and I'm going to have her whenever I want to have her. And if I decide I want to have you, I'm going to have you. Read this to you. Buck breaking, the process where black men were routinely raped by their slave owners. They don't like to talk about that. They don't like to talk about the sex farms where they bred slaves like horses. And every time that slave got a woman pregnant or something, they give them a coin. This is how that promiscuous, I would say that promiscuity that they always talking about, that's innate in us. This is how it was put in us. These same sex farms took young boys and emasculated them, oiled them up, had them dancing around like little girls, touching on them. Homosexuality was not big in Africa, if it existed at all. I heard all different types of stories that would happen to men that exhibited this. Now, we knew at a certain age, most of the young men were taken away from the women. This was done for a reason. It was time to cut off all that coddling. The time to let the young man know you are a man. There are expectations in your life. This is the way a man conducts himself. This is how we were taught before we were brought here. So we had to be broken from this type of thinking, this type of behavior. And sure, they killed quite a few slaves during this process. But it was an effective tool to keep the young blacks in order. So a man controls his emotions and his passions. I'm going to read something from some of these quotes I'm going to read are from a biblical standpoint. And we just want to go through a few and create a dialogue. As I said, a man controls his emotions and his passions. Single or married, a real man tames his passions. He doesn't abuse his wife or his children. He protects them. He keeps his hands off a woman who is not his wife and treats his wife with love, respect, and dignity. We got a problem in the black community, and it's not widespread, and I'm sure there's a lot of different angles that you can come at it, that we don't reverence our women. We don't take care of them like we should. And it all stems from slavery. When you thought you had a woman and the master showed her, this nigga can't do nothing for you. He can't take care of you. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to take care of you. And that has continued on to this day. It's almost like it's something in a lot of women that can't trust anything a black man says because he's not in a superior position. Why do I have to respect him if I'm going out to work just like he's working? If I'm bringing in the money just like he's doing, he's getting his money from the same man I'm getting my money from. Why do I have to respect you? We're not talking about womanhood. Clearly, this type of woman needs to be trained herself or reconditioned herself to understand the position of the man in the family. Women, a lot of women like, well, I'm equal to the man. I'm this. Let me say it like this. A man's job is to protect his family. When you're lying in bed with your man and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you hear somebody climbing through the kitchen window or kicking in the front door, do you expect him to get up and go to the door? Or do you say, well, you went last time, we're equal, so I'm going to go this time? No. You take the minimum position, you nudge him and say, I heard something, and you expect him to go take care of it. Why can't you be like that in other instances? There was a scene from the Godfather where Marlon Brando is talking to his son in the yard, and he tells him, women and children can be careless, but not men. And we got a lot of careless behavior that's going on out here. We're so involved with so much nonsense that we're not providing for our families in the right way. And I understand completely. I understand how this all came about. I understand the 300 years of slavery, the 150 years of Jim Crow. 1 Timothy says, if anyone does not provide for his own, especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. The man has to stand up and take care of his household. Now, me being a 60s baby, I happened to grow up in a time where first we saw men, and then in the later 70s, we started seeing a whole change, and the government has stepped in and officially removed the men from the house, or we've allowed ourselves to be removed from the house, because we're tying the rent and the money for food to you, woman, not having a man. Because if you got a man, why are you taking this from us? Bill O'Reilly, the asshole he was always talking about the condition of black people and things, but really just BSing. This country fully understands what it did to black men in this country. Last week we talked about the Mulholland report of 1965, where they detailed that they knew what they did to black people during slavery, through Jim Crow, and how they blatantly refused to give any type of reparations, because at that point, black men and women would become their biggest competitors. So when I'm talking about a whole reconditioning process that we have to go through, or we're going to continue the same process that we go through. I wrote on my page here, failure of the father. Most of us aren't paying for the failures of the father. We're not even paying for the failures of the great-grandfather or the great-great-grandfather. Clearly, my great-great-grandfather was a slave. I'm born exactly 100 years after slavery ended. What could a slave, a man that has been destroyed, who has no connection to who he is, do but start to emulate the oppressor? And I got a strange feeling a lot of our people, and this is what kills me when you're trying to have that discussion on what we're going to do and how we're going to survive. I think it's a lot of brothers out here that admire the oppressor because, well, he let me make a little money. In the Mohallahan report, it clearly states, yeah, we're okay with a little individual success. It kind of helps us with what we're putting out here. Where we can point to this Negro over here and say, look at Jim. He's doing great. Paying attention to us, doing what we asked him to do. Head's not too high. He's living good. He's not living good as me, but, you know, for a nigga, this nigga living good here. You're admiring the person who's destroyed you, and then you're so blind, you don't realize that you've been destroyed. That's the black failure. But we don't see another alternative. I talked about Mr. Chain last week and how the Asians do things. And this happened right before that situation on the plane with Dr. Don Lowe, whatever his name is. Mr. Chain said, you won't see Chinese out in the street protesting. We strategize because that protesting is a waste of time, and we do it this way. We know how the history of us with these Europeans. The whole white world is under white supremacy. But this is how we handle it. So when the man got pulled off the plane, I said, this is the perfect time. Let me see who's going to be protesting. Jesse Jackson was out there protesting. I don't know what the hell for. Some white folks is out there protesting. Everybody's out there protesting except the Chinese. When this man's lawyer stepped in, said what he had to say, all you could do is sit back and say, this man about to get paid. He's about to get broke off. And there wasn't a single protest by Asian Americans. Mr. Chang was completely right. They don't waste time with that strategy. They do what they need to do. They strategize and play the same game that that man plays. And they've been doing it for years. They got to a point where when we deal with white folks, they're going to deal with us on an equal level. Because we still got our country back here. So all these Chinese and Asians that's in America, oh, we got connections. And y'all going to do business with us? Okay, mess over our people and see what happens. We ain't got no connection. Our country, our culture has been diminished, pretty much wiped out in this country, and diminished in the other country, our homeland. Every other people has been systematically destroying Africa for years, taking all the resources. It's the most resource-enriched place on the planet. And yet the poverty in Africa is greater than poverty all throughout the world. But it's the richest continent. You got the Asians. They've bought in. And we're going to set up a few hospitals to make it look nice. Because we're here to help you, of course. But we're here to help ourselves. That's all these corporations taking the diamonds, the oil, the minerals, rubies, all types of stuff. Every resource that you can think of is coming from Africa, being distributed around the world, making billions of dollars. Yet, the poverty is insane. And we can't help them. You want to know why? Because we don't have a connection to them. We don't. Like I told my friend before, you don't know who you are because all that was taken away from you. So I understand you comfortable with your job and it's all great and it's all grand. That's the mask. So I understand you got to wear the mask. But you only you're wearing the mask until you complete your mission. It's like if you were going to go and commit a crime and you put the mask on. But nobody walks around with the mask on after they've committed the crime. They've completed their mission, so they don't need the mask. Problem with a lot of us, we happy to be a white clone. Why should I sit around here and pretend that I'm African? I'm more white than I am African mentally. Because I refuse to let go of Massa. No matter how he's treated me, Massa allows me to travel with him, go around the world, see things, open my eyes to all the greatness that he does for me. Fuck my people. That's what we got out here in the world. We got that type of mentality. Nobody's paying attention to, well, a lot of us are paying attention to it. I just don't believe in a lot of the politics of the land because it's those same politics that have oppressed us for all this time. If you're a politician and you haven't said black people deserve reparations and put some reparation bills, screw you. You just as bad as all the rest of them. And we loved Obama. But we didn't get nothing. This was the worst 8 years of my life. I saw so much undercover racism when Obama got elected. It was ridiculous. Let me give you an example, because I love giving you all examples of nonsense. I'm going to share this screen with you. And I like to share this for the young people that are coming up, that are going into colleges and things like that. We got 4 figures on the screen. And this was called Who Gets the Golden Opportunity for the Next Project. Let's see, we got one guy, and he's been the project lead on 1, 2, 3. He's had some exceed expectation reviews, certifications. He's got seniority. Okay, sounds like a good candidate for this next project we want to work on. Okay, we got it here. We got a demoted person, no projects. He's got his certifications. He's been out sick, damn near a year or 2. Well, we got another one. We got no project leads, multiple write-ups, complaints about his appearance. He's got some certifications. You know, he needs some special training here. And then you got a guy, he's the last one hired. He's still in school, no certification, no project leads. And I guess he's got a bad attitude or bad attendance. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this from a distance. Who gets the opportunity? From a real world view, the person that has the seniority on all the project leads would get the Golden Opportunity Project. In a fair world, I've neglected to tell you, that person's black. That person does not cow down to the massa because he believes his work speaks for itself, and he's demonstrated that he is capable of this. But not in the white world. The white world says, I don't give a damn, nigga. Just like they're doing Obama now. The reason we're in the worst economy that we're in now because of Obama. Now, when Obama went to president, when all this market stuff crashed and went down, and the Republicans will tell you, well, it's because of Clinton. So you're going to skip the 8 years in between Clinton and Obama and blame the failure on him. You're going to skip over Bush and him starting the war, looking for weapons of mass destruction. When Clinton left the office, there was a surplus. Every state got millions of dollars. But you got these politicians saying, oh, well, he didn't do that the right way. And no, basically, you didn't get no money. You weren't able to steal money. And the same thing with Obama. You just weren't able to steal money the way you want to. But now we got our boy Trump back in here. He's going to set it all back right. Don't ever be confused with your blackness and how great you are. Because if you sitting up under them like a dog, eventually they'll treat you like a dog. It's always that thing, you cool until you not cool. They taking over our communities. Whatever this man wants to do, he comes in and does it. I call it economic violence. Gentrification of the neighborhoods. Let's not put any resources in your neighborhood because you're not trained on anything. You don't know anything. How did your neighborhood get like this in the first place? We had nothing to do with it. We just went over here and did that thing over here, and you guys destroyed it. Let me share Bill O'Reilly, and then you can get a good understanding of what Fox and him and so many other whites act and think, and they believe it because I've actually had altercations with them and talked to them about it. Let me share this with you.
But it's important tonight to remember that he had a special place in his heart for black people. Prison.
Don't get pregnant at 14. Don't allow your neighborhoods to deteriorate into free fire zones. That's what the African American community should have on their T-shirts.
With African American youth,
but how are you going to get jobs for them? Many of them are ill-educated and have tattoos on their foreheads. There's an outreach, I don't even know what that means, by the Obama administration to African Americans. Right? Yeah. I don't know, what does that entail? Are they going to be on Soul Train?
You always refuse to acknowledge that there is institutional racism in this country.
Okay, because you can't prove
and there's a legacy of racism in this country.
Slaves did participate in the construction of the White House. Slaves that worked there were well fed and had decent lodgings provided by the government. Well, say you're a cocaine dealer, and you kind of look like one a little bit.
The disrespect. That's how a lot of them act. Some of them are good at covering it up. A lot of them aren't. And it's shocking that it takes so much to get one of these guys. They finally got Bill O'Reilly. I was glad they got him because he came out and he was very disrespectful to Maxine Waters, as he is to every other black person. This black man that was on the show, he's a talk show personality, but he's an educated man. He called him a dope dealer. He always takes the most negative stereotypes and highlights them, and he acknowledges nothing at all that anything that America ever did has put anybody in a certain situation. And there'll be those people that, if you work hard and so, yeah, if you work hard, you're going to have individual success. It's not going to do nothing for your people. And that's the problem here. The white people in America own 90% of the wealth in this country. When they say unemployment rate 4.6, that's their unemployment rate. The unemployment rate in black neighborhoods is 20 to 38%. We like it like that. So while you out here spending $200 for gym shoes and you got kids, you're being irresponsible. While you're out here getting locked up and going to jail, you're being irresponsible because you're a soldier that's missing from being able to push us forward. It's another part of the system that 65% of the people locked up in America are black and brown people. 65%. We've already gotten rid of half you Negroes. And if this other half don't stay in line by letting us oppress them, they can come in and sit right next to you. Because we own nothing. And people always say, well, black businesses don't do this and they don't do this. And I say, keep supporting them. Just like you're going to keep supporting Macy's and other places that you're unhappy. And your ass run right back up in there. Mr. Chang said himself. He said, black people are the only people who fight to be under their oppressor. Where's the leadership? I love our black women. But how's a black woman a role model for a man? She has all the qualities, but she misses the masculinity that the young man needs when he needs to be checked. But with her daughter, she pushes her daughter out there. She encourages her daughter not to do the same things that she did that may have put her in a situation. But the boys, she coddles. She fights his father when he tries to instill manhood into his son. I used to do a mentoring program at the church, and it was for young men aged 13 through 18 who didn't have a father in the home. So we're going to take these young men and try to be like a father figure and talk to them and take them places, show them things, and relate to them. This one lady comes up, and she's married, and the husband is in the household. This was the only time I said no. I said, no. Because you made a decision, married this man, had this child with this man. I don't think we should overstep what's going on in your household with this man. Because me personally, I would be offended if I have a son and my wife has the nerve to say, I don't like what you're instilling in him. Unfortunately, you're not in a position to tell me about being a man and what I feel my son needs to be instilled. Now, I completely understand if the father is out here robbing banks and all that. Of course, we don't want that installation. But just because he's not doing what you feel he should be doing, you married this man. You laid down and had a baby with this man. That's you all's thing. And that's where we get a lot of friction with our black women. You're overstepping. And I hate to say it, sometimes you're just overstepping. If the man is doing everything he's supposed to do, why can't he be the leader of the house? It sounds 50-50 sounds nice. But whoever goes to the door when the intruder breaks in, they in charge. If you go to the door and he doesn't, you are in charge. I officially say you're in charge. You got to be able to support your man and not feel like somebody's trying to suppress you every time he speaks up or says something. Then the man is frustrated because I can't be a man on my job and I can't come home and be a man. And you're fussing about this, and this because you think you know more about life and being a man than I do. That's where a lot of the frustration comes from, ladies. Now, all these women say, well, I want a godly man. Okay, so if he follows God, will you follow him? Because when I was in discipleship and leadership class, we were taught something, and a lot of women may object to what we were taught. We were taught that the man is the head of the household and that God is the head of the man, and that the woman falls in line with the man. So why are so many women trying to circumvent the man? I don't need you. I'm going to go straight to God for everything I need, because even though he provided me with you, you're not what I really want, because you don't listen and you don't do the things I say and things of this nature. That's called insanity. You so busy trying to be a man, you can't recognize the man that God gave you, the gift that God gave you. You're a gift to the man, and he's expected to recognize that and love you as God loved the church. But you're required to bring it down a little bit. Don't try to overrule the man. If you're not willing to go along with him and follow a little bit, don't marry him. One of the biggest problems with us as black people is the women head 65% of the households. So isn't that a coincidence? 65% of the households are headed by women. 65% of the prison population is black. That's really not a coincidence. Don't confuse with the money that this man gives you and the white man tells you this and tells you this. And I know a bunch of successful black women. And they all say the same thing about why they ain't got a man. He couldn't handle my success. And I always say, no, he could have handled your success. My suspect is he didn't want to handle your mouth. He didn't want to handle your attitude. And I say it all the time. Money didn't change men. It changed women. So now women are getting more heart attacks, more high blood pressure, because they're out here doing the job of that men used to do. And I want to call it a men job. Women are all over the place, presidents and everything, and that's great. Most men don't want to go out and compete with this white man, then come home and have to compete with you. A lot of us black men are still trying to rebuild ourselves, find out who we are as men, because only you can define your manhood. Some men define manhood by how many babies they can make, whether they taking care of them or not. I got a lot of babies. I'm a man. Some men define it by, I take care of my household. Everything's in order. Some men define manhood by their sexual prowess. I got all these hoes, man. I got them all lined up. They buying me this, they buying me that. But as you get older, you should be evolving. You should be evolving from the whore chasing man, the irresponsible man. You should be growing. Now, I know a lot of people that have a lot of kids. My father would always say, well, I got like 20 kids, son. And I would say, why? For what? You can't take care of 20 kids effectively. You can't spend enough time with 20 kids. You can try, and that's commendable. It's a little irresponsible. Carmelo Anthony. Why? You got this wife, kid, contract. Everything's looking lovely in your life. Why are you coming out now? Got this stripper 6 months pregnant. She recognized you as a come up. Why didn't you recognize her as Satan? Now you about to lose everything and write a big check and then have to continue to write checks. I don't want to see you on TV like T.O. crying because you went out and had all these different babies and you're not effectively able to take care of them because T.O. was damaged because his father lived right across the house. Across the road, his mother was having an affair with the man that was married, had this baby, and he couldn't have a relationship with his father. That's not T.O.'s failure. That's his father's failure. And he probably got that failure from his father. And we pass failures through the family like heirlooms. And every father wants his son to be a little better than he was. So this show was about looking in the mirror, getting control of yourself. Like I said with the Zoe Williams thing, I see a lot of ignorance. Grew up around a lot of ignorance, saw a lot of ignorance. Like I always say, I saw a dude choking a dude in a wheelchair. I'm like, why? I didn't like what he was saying. You don't have enough control of yourself to not choke a man in a wheelchair. That's no threat to you. That's sad. Because somebody calling you out your name. That's sad. I've always been a mild-mannered person. And as long as you don't touch me, we good. We good. You can talk all that craziness. I remember I was talking to one of my friends one day, And he was talking about an old story. We're at the basketball court. And this dude's getting upset. You know, he's getting loud because I'm killing him. But he's getting loud and everything, and it's cool. And Danny was like, oh, man, this dude, so-and-so. Yeah, I mean, we winning. He ain't shaking me. I'm not leaving the court. You ain't touching me. You over there. You can say whatever you want to say. Do whatever you want to do. My manhood says it's not in danger until you come over here with your nonsense. Now, when you come over here, then we're in a different place. But I don't need the extra. I don't need to prove my manhood by fighting and beating you down. All I got to do is live my life. Remember what's important in life. If I'm going to school, then my school is important. I don't need to be sitting in jail because I did something stupid. Now I'm missing out on my education. I don't need to do something stupid and now I can't see my kids. I don't need to do something stupid and now I'm leaving my woman or my wife alone to fend for herself. Now she has no protection from the wolves that are out here. That's the manhood. We got to think, brothers. Only one person's playing the game, and that's them. Like I say in my poem, they want me to be a nigger. Self-destruction taught by the destructional teacher. We on the field, and they in the bleachers. Love, peace, soul. We out of here.
Raymond Joshua, come out.
So when you're in this building, I want you to stay alive, to listen carefully to me. Nobody in here is your brother. I don't care if they're as black as you are, as light as daylight. They are not your brother. You mind your business, son, and you'll stay alive. Every day somebody gets shanked in here. Every day somebody gets beaten up in here. We got predators in here, son. We got people who'll cut your throat for nothing at all but a pack of cigarettes. You mind your business in here, son. Do you understand where you are?
Tongue with the balls. Turn around, spread your cheeks with both hands at the same time. Show me the bottom of your feet. Turn around, face me, bend over at the waist, bring your fingers through your head. Just like this.
Your number is going to be given to you. It's a sequential number. It's not a random set of numbers, son. That number means something. It's your number. It's your number now. You know what that number represents, son? 276,000. Now listen carefully to me, and you'll understand a little bit about what makes me so angry. We only have less than 500,000 people in the District of Columbia, son. Now only 70% of them are black. Now what's 70% of 500,000? Do the math. We got about 350,000 black people in D.C. Of the 350,000, half of them are female, aren't they? But what's that? Use the math, son, the math. Less than 175,000 people are males like yourself. Now, all of them not over 21 years of age. Half of them are kids. Now, the devil, if we got only 75 to 80,000 adult males in the District of Columbia, is the number 276,000 a day. Figure it out for yourself. We've exhausted a 21-year-old, 20-year-old, 19-year-old. We're working on 18. We're moving on down the line, son. By the time we cross 300,000, we'll be down in the 16 and 17-year-olds. We're wiping out our race in Washington, D.C. And here you are in here playing these little silly-ass games. Well, we got something for you, son. Welcome to the D.C. jail. You might make it out of here and you might not.
Quite hostile.
I got a right to be hostile, man. My people been persecuted.
With vice, I hold the mic device. With force, I keep it away, of course. And I'm keeping you from sleeping. And on the stage, I rage and I'm rolling. And to the poor, I pour it on the metaphors. And now bluffing is nothing that we ain't did before. We played, just stayed the